NED Dautriel, and I am French of origin in Louisiana, and I live in Westlake, Louisiana. And I was just out of high school. I was graduating in '66. Believe it or not, I signed up 3 months earlier, and I knew I was going to leave in June because I wanted aviation guarantee. I went ahead and pre-signed with my recruiter in Lake Charles. Lake Charles, Louisiana is the next biggest town. Westlake, just a little like a suburb. So I signed up aviation guaranteed. I put my name on a dotted line, and when I graduated, I knew I was going to boot camp June 12th, which, believe it or not, that date stays June 12th because years later, I got married on June 12th. Things in my life happened on June 12th for some reason. All right, after Memphis, I have to step into North Carolina. I went to New River. I was in 365 for about a year or so. And we went on a Caribbean cruise. I got back from the cruise, and one of my old friends, R.B. Johnson, never forget. I said, R.B., we're tired of this. This ain't enough action. Let's go ahead. We're gonna get our marching orders to Vietnam. Let's just go ahead and volunteer on the space. And okay, so that's when I made it home, got my leave, and then I had the orders to California, Camp Pendleton, and we got into a quick training thing. The normal stuff. They went through the village and all this stuff, and they give us, you had to read a map and do a compass and everything like that. Then off we went to Okinawa. We stayed about a few days there until we caught a plane to Da Nang. I was going to Da Nang. I got to Da Nang that night. We had our bags and all that stuff, and me and RB, we were all together all the way to there, and we got into barracks, and there was a transit barracks, and if everybody in the Marine Corps knows transit barracks, sleep with your duffel bag on you, or whatever. Not that it was that we have any quick-handed Marines, but anyway, you done that anyway. So, and all of a sudden, boom, it was midnight. I said, what's that noise? And RB goes, I don't know, but everybody's leaving. And little did I know, and I learned later, you could set your watch at midnight, and if you were a few minutes off, you better reset it because that first rocket or the first mortar is hitting Da Nang at midnight. Right after that incident, we got our orders to go to squadron. I think R.B. Johnson went to 161, I went to 364, the Purple Foxes. And I said, oh, this must be something else. I like this Fox idea. I'm thinking, hey, everybody's foxy. What's going on? This must be a good outfit. I said, okay. RB went to I think the Angels or something. I forgot. So he went over there, and I lost track of RB after that. I'm always looking for RB Johnson wherever you're at. But anyway, I got into it was December. I got in right when the Purple Foxes had just moved. What I heard or learned later was from Fubai, I believe. They had just set up. Everything, they were still doing nailing and office work in there, still moving furniture around, and I got there about 2 weeks or so before Christmas. And I spent Christmas there and everything and all that, and I got assigned to a crew chief. At the time, I wasn't a full crew chief, but I had enough hours to take the test and be a crew chief. So that was in December. And hey, the outfit, I knew there was a couple of them I knew from when I was in 365, and there was a Monahan, I believe I knew. He moved on to somewhere else, I believe, but anyway, I knew him. And one of my good friends was McDaniels, and he was a real good friend of mine in New River, and I think he just got killed, in a trash or something, and that affected me quite a bit. I said, wow, I'm losing, a friend of mine already, and I hadn't even experienced any of these friends, that I know now that are very close to me, Marine Corps, and especially the Purple Foxes. So anyway, a typical day was, then you had your gunners. We got our gunners and we pumped up the AP. If anything with a 46 knows, you got to get that 5,000 pounds up. And of course, your mate done all the pumping. Some being you were crew chief, because I went through the same thing. So we fly out, got our mission. Most of the time, I done a lot of resupplies. We done a lot of resupplies. Everything from, I was amazed at some of the stuff that you would carry. Everything from chickens, hogs, to the rock Marines, to people, and the whole village we've moved before. Pick them out. That was a typical whatever. We done shorties everywhere. At first mission, I was not, at the time, I was a door gunner by the crew chief. There was a 50 cal, and we had some training with 50 cal. We went on, qualified with the area. We took a few runs in the ocean because we was right off the beach, learned the action of the 50. And I can't think of my crew chief at the time right now that was in there, but I just met the co-pilot that was on my first mission. And the first mission was resupply. So we were resupplying all of a sudden we get a call on the radio. Oh, it's a recon. It was not an extraction or anything really heavy, just we're gonna put in a recon team by a river. Of course, I didn't know at the time. I just, okay. I said, you better check your guns, and crew chief, I guess he was seasoned enough to know everything, check all the, and so we picked up the recon Hill 55, I believe that was 55. Anyway, we picked the team up, and I'm watching and this is the first time I fly, so I'm looking down, and I'm watching these two Hueys just bomb the heck out of this area. I mean, strafe it and rockets going off and everything. I said, man, this is real. Is this real? I said, I suppose it is. And I wonder if we're going down in there. I said, yeah, we are. And after they finished up, I was listening on the radio. I said, okay, Roger, Flight 1, you're ready to proceed down, and we prepped the area and everything. We'll stand by. And the Starbird was above us, so we went in. And let me tell you, I just talked, this is just as we was laying down, the tires were just off the deck, all hell broke loose. All of a sudden, this popping noise comes through. I'm looking in a little ravine on the side of the LZ, and I see these little flash marks. And let me tell you, I said, I guess that's where they're at. And I just started laying into those flash marks with that 50. At the same time, crew chief, he's sitting right there shooting on the ground right next to me. I said, what's he doing? There was these three enemy opened a flap up, and they had a 50 cal, looked up, and it was jammed. And he was shooting, and he shoved me to put that 50 on that machine gun, and I rolled in there and I quietened them guys down. So at the same time, I'm looking, I call it the cartoon figure with the holes all over. I had about 6 or 7 holes right above the gunner and all around. They were actually shooting at me and the crew chief, I know. But anyway, one of the recon, I think, took a small hit, and we lifted off, and I was still shooting at 2,000 feet. And the pilot come over to me and says, please tell that gunner we're out of the LZ to shut it down. I went through almost 600 rounds, 6 boxes of ammo. I was that good. The fear was not there until I realized that, hey, I looked at all those holes and everything and said, hey, I could have been dead. And the crew chief and all, sometimes that's just typical. I said, okay. So we ended up that mission on a good talk, and from there on, matter of fact, at the time they were telling us, watch your ammo, don't put too much on board because of the weight. And every cranny, I had a 50 cal box somewhere. All right, my bonding friendship with Steinberg to this day, me and him still a real good place. And sometimes I was hard to hear names and things, and I related to Steinberg as Stymie, which is the character in the Little Rascals. I've called him Stymie ever since. I didn't know his name was Bob. You know, I still, to this day, I still can't call him Bob. I call him Stymie. Everybody calls him Stein, I guess, you know, because he's been around forever. And the bonding part was, you know, the camaraderie was there. I mean, you weren't in the squadron a month, and you felt like everybody was. When I got crew chief of the month one time, and everything like that, and everybody was there to help. And I found that the officers always took care of their enlisted. I got to give them that. They never abused us, which, you know, you've seen it. Well, Hollywood's famous for that, some of that, but anyway, not me. I've seen it up action. I've seen the camaraderie of them. And you don't know the officers actually until we got to our reunions. You get to know them as a person. Me, you had to treat them as an officer, and I knew no other. In the Marine Corps, that's the way it is to me. That was my idea of being a Marine and taking orders and stuff. And the camaraderie was there in the process. I'm just so proud to be. Well, I got my watch, my Purple Fox watch that Colonel Brady gave me to me in person, and I cherish that I'll wear it to my reunions only. So 2 years I got to get the battery changed. So first thing on my reunion list is get this battery changed. Well, I was with the Colonel, and the Colonel, for some reason, I don't know if he liked to fly with me, but he didn't mind. One of the funniest things is when the Da Nang ammo dump went up that night. This was about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Somebody comes up to me, hey native, Colonel wants your plane. Let's go. Yours is on the ready up. Go get it ready. We gotta fly this thing. Okay. So I went up there, pre-fired everything. Here comes the Colonel, and I think it was. I'm not sure who the co-pilot was, but anyway, here he comes. We taxi on out the revampment, going out the runway, and boom, we're up. And all this time, you could see these bombs. I mean, 300, 400, 500 pounders just boom. I said, I don't know what in the world we're gonna do. Sure enough, here's the old Colonel. We flew off of Da Nang and we just took a sharp right, and there we are, right over the crap. You know, I mean, you know, the explosions and everything, and you can see this shock wave coming through the sky with the smoke. I said, here it comes. About that time, the plane. Well, we flew around for several while, took pictures and all this stuff, and then flew back in. Actually, we were there. I imagine he got ordered somebody to get a plane in the air, and whoever was coherent enough sometimes, you know. But anyway, we were on the standby, and we got to pre-flighted. I come in there, open up all the hat, looking at it, and the next day, this daylight, I'm under my plane. I always kind of wipe it up or something like that. I saw pieces of wood pallet in the bottom of that damn plane. I said, golly, he done it to us again. That's because this was the second incident with the Colonel Brady. The first incident, and to this day, and poor Colonel, every time we have a reunion, he said, you know, Nettie, you're the only NCO that ever chewed me out. I said, I know it, Colonel. You needed it that time. We were in a LZ, and we had troops, and we had 11 aircraft going down at once in a spiral. We dropped our troops off, and it wasn't a hot LZ, but it was a kind of up and down and everything, hilly and everything. And we got to the LZ, and this was one of his first or third missions on there, and this was when he shortly took over the squadron. I didn't know him, and I never even had a bear with him or anything, you know, got to really shake his hand. But he was the Colonel, you know. He comes in that LZ, and he laid on that thing, and he rolled that helicopter like that, and I looked out the back like that, and when I saw that first tree go up, cutting the ground up there with my blade, I laid into the Colonel like you don't know what. I hate to use the language, but I told him, and even the co-pilot he didn't want to say nothing. He was mum. But this crew chief, I've had a few missions already under my belt, and I was pretty good. I said, God dang it, you son of a bitch, you're going to kill us all. Anyway, I laid on the poor colonel, and I figured, well, I got back, I'm going to stand tall in front of the man. I'm going to have to go in there and explain this and that. He never mentioned it until we met for the first reunion in Pensacola, I believe. He says, and he pointed at my face, he says, you're the only NCO that I got chewed out by without. And I never heard, I thought sure, I said, well, it was a court-martial for sure. I'll never get promoted. This is another one. I was in Major Cunningham. Major Cunningham was a strict, and he was one of, I don't know why, but I got him all, like every time I turned around, maybe because I adhered to his, whatever he wanted to do, I was doing. Well, listen, we were picking up some Arvin troops, and we picked them up. We just laid our run. We were waiting. We were hovering, not say hovering, but we were sitting there in the LZ, and listen, there was a party right there. I said, Cunningham, sir, I said, permission to leave the aircraft. Sometimes I have to, go back. Nope, we ain't got time. Well, okay. And listen, it was getting bad. So we took off. I'm down there. I told the gunner, I said, look, y'all got the plane. I got to do something. So, I always kept a pile of rags, and, and I don't know if, how sometimes you could smell stuff from the back cockpit. But I had to do it, and I done it. And I know you can smell the colonel never said nothing of it. I never heard beans. I was waiting for him to go, God, no. So I threw it out. Well, I looked like that. Here's my buddy. And the rag fell on his forward landing gear. Full of crap all over the landing gear. I didn't say nothing. He comes back out to fly. We're all taxied in, pre-flight. He said, I heard the devil say, God, what in the world? Where did I just get on my landing gear? He had to wash this crap off of his landing gear. And that was it. I never would have dreamed that rag would have flew right on his. It went down like that and went out, and our chase bird was just at the right angle, but it flew right on his forward landing gear. We didn't mix politics much, as I remember, with the military. Military was a duty. To me, that was my idea of every man in this United States ought to, no matter what the politics was, when you were called upon, you just went. I mean, we've got family members back from the Civil War, of course, the Confederacy, of course, but that we've had military. We could trace some of our ancestors all the way back from, I imagine, being we were from Louisiana down to Lord, nothing in the American Revolutionary War that I know of, but I know from the Civil War on up, we've had a history of being loyal to our family and to the nation, of course. And politics didn't bother me because I was over there just doing my job like everybody else and being a good, I'm going to say, I know it's gun-ho, but I'm just being a good Marine, doing our job. And I found out if you done that, you got through thick and thin. Some of us didn't come back from that war, and it might have not been right. And when I got home, the only thing, and it still affects me to this day, is they told us not to wear our uniform home. And that, right now, it still chokes me up. But I got over it. When I got home, everybody was there to welcome me home.